3, 1. Let's kick it off. Episode 6 of The Humble Onion. Welcome, everybody. It's a big-ass steak episode. We're cooking steaks. We're going to Hasselback some potatoes. We're going to make a compound butter. We've got big plans. It's all going down with a Barbaresco. Before that, I'm going to have a Guinness because I'm a little bit dusty today, but it's going to be fine. I'm glad you're here. First thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to start working on our steak. You might be looking at this thinking that isn't a steak, that is a Sunday roast. We can cook this in the pan from start to finish without going in the oven at all. All right, first thing, we're going to season this bad boy. So you want about 2% salt for things to taste well seasoned. That's just a general, rule. So if you're seasoning water, seasoning whatever, 2%. So you think if this thing weighs about 1 kilo, that's a shitload of salt that you're not gonna ruin this steak with too much salt. So just get it right on there, okay? Pushing that salt in there. Wonderful. This is Australian grass-fed beef, so it's already gonna be incredibly delicious. Wherever you are, insert your country grass-fed beef, okay? Always, always. Cows aren't meant to eat corn. Don't eat it. It's going to affect the fat a lot. It's going to affect definitely the way that it tastes. There's a lot going on. We have just a medium pan over here. We're not going to go with searingly high heat, okay? For our method, we're going to sear it, rest it, sear it, rest it, sear it, rest it, until it's really lovely, okay? Until it's right where we want it to be in the core temperature. I've had this steak out since I bought it this morning. I want this thing to hit about 55 degrees in the middle for it to be absolutely perfect for me. You got to think, if this has come straight out of the fridge, the pan, if it's searingly hot or if it's going into a 250 degree oven, the chance of you just nailing that in the middle and getting anything that isn't just like well done, medium well, and then raw, that's just shit. So if it's tempered, we're already ahead, A little bit of oil in the pan, just a small amount. Straight in there. Turn it down, it's all good. And this is how it starts. Cooking it with this method, we're gonna get an absolutely beautiful, consistent color right the way through our steak. We're gonna get lovely color on the outside. And it's gonna take time to build a really nice crust on the outside. But as I said, we don't want one thick layer of well done and then raw. We wanna have one consistent color right the way through. And that's what this technique is gonna do. It's a bit like the whisking episode, isn't it? It's just, once it's on, you just gotta wait. I don't know how to commentate. Just sear it all over. That's all you gotta do. Okay, so once we've seared it, we're gonna take it out and we're gonna rest it. We're gonna let this here now is gonna go somewhere that isn't very hot, okay? We've just put a lot of heat on the outside and that heat is gonna continue to penetrate into the meat. Okay, so even though it is resting, it's still cooking. You know what I mean? Because just like I said, this is about 300 degrees when you're searing on it. The center temperature is hopefully around maybe 15 now that we've left it out to temper. So if I only want to bring this up to 55, we're just going to heat the outside, let it sit. It's going to come up a little bit. We're going to do it again. It's going to come up a little bit more, a little bit more. But what we're going to get is a really even cook all the way through. So now our steak is resting. We've got about 10 minutes that we're going to just leave that on the side to just chill. We're actually going to make some Hasselback potatoes to go with our steak, okay? So Hasselbacks, which we'll cut to, we can just like edit in the end product so that people know what we're talking about. We're going to cut all ridges along the top like little hedgehogs. So as they roast, we're going to get crispy crunchies on the top, but inside, at the very heart of the roasted potato, it's going to be nice and smooth and fluffy and roast potato delicious. So to do that, I've got a trick for you. We're going to use anything we like with just a wee edge here, okay? Maybe like a wooden spoon that's not too thick or anything you like, okay? Take just the very bottom of the potato off so that it lays flat for us. And then put this one down, okay? So that as we cut, we don't go all the way through. Perfect. We're just going to do that over and over again. Using my real knife this week. Hasselback potatoes were invented in Sweden. It's actually true. I don't know anything else about Hasselback potatoes or Sweden. In our lovely baking dish, we have our potatoes. They've been Hasselbacked, I suppose. I'm going to put some shallots in with mine. I just like roasted onions when I'm having things like big-ass steaks. Next, we're going to get some salt. It's very important that it's salt. And we're also going to use some oil. So we want to make sure that the oil gets right in between the layers, because the oil is what's going to make it all nice and crispy. The salt's what's going to make it all nice and delicious. Later on, we'll put some butter in there as well. That's going to be kind of a theme for today. Everything's going to be finished with some butter. Awesome. So just kind of separate them a little bit just to make sure that oil is going to get in between the layers. So these are just going into our oven. It's probably about 180, 190. See you later. So we have 6 seconds left on our little timer here, and then we're going to get this bad boy back into the pan. So, all right, mate. Pan's been on. We've cleaned it this time, okay? And you're going to be like, no, the juices. We're going back and back and back and back. So don't worry about it. And I don't want what's in there at the beginning to be really bitter and ruined and dark at the end, okay? So grab this bad boy. Just grab it. And in we go. And we're sealing again. So this one's going to be a bit of a longer one. I'm going to leave it in here for quite a while. We really want to render some of the fat out, really get some nice bark on there, you know what I mean? We want a bit of crust. So, to serve with our steak, we're going to make a compound butter, okay? Now, I'm a little bit trepidatious about calling this Cafe de Paris because I know someone's going to be like, yeah, it's not fucking technically. All right, mate. Well, I couldn't find any tarragon, so leave me alone. We're just making a lovely, delicious butter to serve with our steak that might feature some similar ingredients. I've got some parsley. I have some herbs from my garden, so that's why I don't have like a specific ratio of things here. I just have what's available. I've got a little bit of rosemary, some oregano, some dill. That's tasty. If you like mint, if you got basil, do what you feel. It's completely up to you. I don't mind. We know that by now. I'm going to brunoise some shallot as well, just to get in there, to have the raw as well as the roasted. Some anchovies. I'm about it. If you're not, it's totally cool. Leave them out. I chucked this garlic in the oven 40 minutes ago, just wrapped up in alfoil. So we're just going to squeeze that roasted garlic straight in there, and some preserved lemon. So if you've got fresh zest, get it in there. I had preserved lemon in the fridge, so I'm going to roll with that. I'm going to use a little bit of clear soy to season mine instead of just the salt and the anchovy, because it's just going to bring more flavor. I have some whole grain mustard and some good butter. I don't always use the best butter just for cooking, but for this, because we're just going to have a really nice quenelle of it served alongside, we really want to use something that's quite tasty. Flip this over. Beautiful. I'm going to make this in the mortar and pestle. You could do this in a food processor if you want. If you have a RoboCoupe or a little NutriBullet, that'd be perfect as well. First thing I'm going to do is just really finely chop the herbs, okay? Even if you're using a food processor, I still recommend making everything nice and tiny. I'll take the preserved lemon here. I'll do a little onion action. You know what? I like anchovies. I'm going to get them in there. I saw something where people told me this was the hole you're supposed to use to push things out of. I always just thought it was a handle, but I don't know. Changed my mind. Beautiful. I'm just going to stand it on the side there. I'm going to squeeze this garlic in here now, which hopefully is all nice and... Oh! That's kind of disgusting and kind of awesome at the same time. Cool. I think there's a reason you don't see a lot of garlic pimple shots on food videos. Oh, very good. We need some mustard, about that much. I'm going to use some clear soy, okay? So this isn't white soy, this is actually clear soy sauce. Unreal. Man, that smells incredible. Let's check out our steak, that fell over. I'll just hold him for a second. It's cool. What we're going to do for this one is I'm actually going to wrap the steak up, okay? I'm going to put this in there. This is actually, you would call this boating in barbecue. It's just called living your best life in your own house, really. But I'm going to get this on there as well. And we're going to wrap this bad boy up. And give him another very nice rest. Cool. Now I'm just going to get some butter in with my tasty stuff in here, about that much. And that leaves us the rest to nap our steak with afterwards. Obviously you want to use tempered butter, okay? And if you, again, if you had a KitchenAid, you can put this in the KitchenAid with a paddle, is completely acceptable. And here is our wonderful compound butter that we're going to serve alongside our fantastic steak. and our Hasselback potatoes. Okay, so we're gonna pull our potatoes out of the oven and check on those. They're probably gonna want a little bit of butter at this stage. Then we're gonna get our steak back in the pan and we're gonna give it the wee nap action. Hopefully we can cut a shot in there so you know what's good. We're gonna present this and then we're ready. We can sit down and have our lunch. Whoa! Absolutely singing. These are looking wonderful. They smell absolutely fantastic. So we're just gonna come through and add a little bit of oil now because we know it's all gonna get in the cracks. We're gonna cut some butter. Oh, just rub them all over with the butter. Get all the butter on there. That is what we want. A little bit more. These are going back in the oven now, and we're gonna finish them off. And we're gonna get the steak in the pan. I'm gonna crank the heat up on these guys and push my oven in for some of you. See that? The oven nearly fell out. So our steak has been resting. I use one of these when I'm checking my meat, okay? We want to know about the internal temperature. Don't go giving it all this, oh, just poke it. Yeah, I know what's happening in there because I've poked it a lot of times. Perfectly rested, wonderful piece of meat. How are you going to know? It's going to feel all soft. So what we're going to do is just skewer inside there, okay? You can use a thermometer if you have one, and we're going to test how warm it is, okay? So this is just above blood temp in the middle, which is brilliant. That's really where we want it. That's fantastic. If this was hotter than that now, I'd be a little bit worried. Do that. You can test it there as well. I just get used to testing it on my lip because I'm eating this. It's okay. This isn't a restaurant. It's all good. In our pan, I'm also going to get some garlic in there as well, which is just going to flavor the oil and the butter and make it nice and delicious. You see how little juice is coming out of our steak? Because we're being quite gentle with it. You know what I mean? Just on again, off again, on again, off again. I'm going to go in with a small amount of butter. We're gonna do a healthy one at some point, right? We'll do an episode that's all about salad, carrots. So because we haven't raised the temperature in here hugely, I've never really blasted the steak. Now that we've got that butter in there, we can give it a bit more heat. We know the inside isn't gonna be overcooked, which is very, very nice. All right, I'm gonna quenelle my butter. Tempered butter is probably the best thing to do. All you wanna do, especially if your spoon is like this, it's kind of almost a triangle kind of shape. Get your spoon hot, okay, and come through and really just shaping, turning it over. You're not trying to, you're not going to cut a perfect scoop like you would with an ice cream scoop or a Parisian baller. Ooh, how's that for a bit of chefing? Alrighty, we're going to flip our steakums. Oh, that is looking great. Bloody beautiful. I'm sorry, Chef? How am I going to eat this? I don't even know. I don't even know how I'm going to manage it. But I'll make it work. Okay, everybody. So we're going to now carve our steak. We have our Hasselback potatoes here. They've been backed. They've been hassled. They look incredible. Roasted shallots, roasted garlic. All right, we've got our Café de Paris, as we may call it. Let's carve our steakums. So first thing I'm going to do is take the bone off. Oh my God. Ho, 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 ho. Very good. That looks quite nice. And now we're just going to carve through it. Oh, crap. Oh, dear. Not too bad at all. Oh, my gosh. The beautiful bark on there. Oh, my gosh. We're going to get that straight onto our plate. Onto there. Oh.
It's good.
Wow, that's wonderful. Okay. Oh my gosh. Garnish, yeah. Get some of our resting juices. Could I please get Le Sal, as we call it? Is that right?
Le sel.
Le Sel, thank you very much. Use some nice sea salt. It's so good to get that crunchy wee salt on there, you know? That bone is mine. No one else is getting that. Guys, we have steak. We have Hasselbacks. We have Café de Paris. It looks like a profesh cooking show. What do you reckon? See you soon. Guys, we're here. We have our big old steak. We have our Hasselback potato. You already know this. We've gone through it 15 times. I'm enjoying this with a wonderful Fletcher Barbaresco. This is really, really delicious. It's winter here in Western Australia. We grow the best truffles in the world in our state. So I believe I would be remiss not to just come through and truffle the living shit out of my lunch. Oh, we'll make it rain. We're living the dream. Let's get some truffle. Oh, on our steakums. Let's get our butter on there.
Any comments?
Man, that's just so wonderful. Let's see how it goes with wine. It's really good with wine. Let's see how truffles go with potatoes, especially roasted potatoes. Guys, we've done it. I'm gonna save this for my breakfast tomorrow. Just an incredible spread. I hope you've seen some things about searing steaks. We've learned about roasting some Hasselback potatoes. I think really we've just had a good time. And that's what it's about. Episode 6. Is that it? Oh, the YouTube, and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Share it. Tell your friends. Oh my God, you should see him. It's called The Humble Onion. It's fucking sweet. Guy's a dickhead. Pretty sure he's high as fuck.